the Labour Party to form the new government. This after 14 years of Tory rule finally coming to an end. What were all those factors? We will be deep diving into, but important to also inform you that the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has in fact conceded defeat. He's called it a thoughtful mandate by the people of Britain. At the same time, Keir Starmer, who is going to be forming the new government and is the leader of the Labour Party and will now be becoming the new Prime Minister of the UK, has in fact said that change begins from now. What will be those crucial aspects that Keir Starmer will now be looking at? In fact, remember, Britain is plagued by a host of challenges that in fact includes the economic turmoil, not to forget in the kind of consequences that the country has been facing after the COVID pandemic, Brexit, and the war in Ukraine. And with that, let's also bring you reactions that have come in of Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak.
I have heard your anger, your disappointment, and I take responsibility for this loss. Following this result, I will step down as party leader, not immediately, but once the formal arrangements for selecting my successor are in place. It is important that after 14 years in government, the Conservative Party rebuilds, but also that it takes up its crucial role in opposition professionally and effectively. I'd like to thank my colleagues, my cabinet, the civil service, especially here in Downing Street, the team at Chequers, my staff, CCHQ, but most of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to my wife Akshata and our beautiful daughters.
Thank you so much for that reception. What an amazing reception. We did it! You campaigned for it, you fought for it, you voted for it, and now it has arrived. Change begins now. And it feels good, I have to be honest. 4.5 years of work changing the party. This is what it is for. A changed Labour Party, ready to serve our country, ready to restore Britain to the service of working people.
All right, and with that, in fact, let's quickly cut across to the Maharashtra Assembly. Remember, the 4 top players of the Indian cricket team are all set to be felicitated in the Maharashtra Vidhan Bhavan, and that is the big highlight upon their, as far as their arrival is concerned. A lot is being talked about how they've been honoured. We've seen that interaction that happened with Prime Minister and between Prime Minister and as far as the men in blue are concerned. But as of now, in fact, the felicitation in the Maharashtra Assembly is currently underway. We all know that the Indian cricket team captain Rohit Sharma also is one of those who will be felicitated, as is Surya Kumar Yadav. And those are the visuals that we are bringing to you of that felicitation ceremony that is currently happening in the Maharashtra Assembly. The men in blue, as we all know, arrived to the jubilation of all of Indian fans, and in fact, not to forget how Prime Minister also interacted with them soon after they arrived in the national capital. And today, as we all know, several of the Indian cricketers hail from Maharashtra. As you can see over there, visuals coming in of the Indian cricket team captain Rohit Sharma, accompanied by the CM, Mr. Eknath Shinde over there. The felicitation ceremony is currently underway. Let's also listen in.
श्री आशिष शेजारजी यांचे व्यासपीठावर हार्दिक स्वागत. आपण कार्यक्रमाच्या प्रारंभी सुनील गावस्कर यांनी गायलेलं हे क्रिकेट म्हणजे हॅलो
All right, let's quickly go across to Yesha Kotak, who's joining me on the phone line and will furnish us with more inputs. Yesha, first it was the felicitation by the Prime Minister soon upon their arrival in the national capital. Not to forget, that victory parade that took place from Nariman Point all the way to the Wankhede Stadium, and now this grand felicitation happening in the Maharashtra Assembly.
Absolutely. In fact, a motion was passed yesterday in Maharashtra Assembly itself, wherein they congratulated the players, which is where now we've also seen that the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde had called 4 players, which includes Rohit Sharma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Yashasvi Jaiswal. All these 4 players were called in. In fact, they were called in for a meet at Chief Minister's residence, that's the official residence of Chief Minister, Varsha Bungalow. Following which, of course, we see now they've headed to the Vidhan Sabha. At Vidhan Sabha, there is a congratulation celebration that is happening for all these players, and which is where now, following this, of course, an address. There's a possibility an address to congratulate all of these 4 players from Maharashtra. And now, of course, we've seen that over the last 2 days, there has been grand celebrations that have taken place in the country. When you speak of these grand celebrations, it was also yesterday's meet with Prime Minister.
Right.
We in fact heard the discussion that took place between Prime Minister and the players as well, following which all these players had headed to Mumbai, where a victory parade was taken out at Marine Drive. Of course, the victory parade was very similar to the earlier victory parades that were taken out when we won the other World Cup, that is in 2007, 2013 as well. We've seen lakhs of people who had gathered on Marine Drive, and that's when our Chief Minister had made an announcement that he's called all the players to the assembly, wherein they'll be congratulated.
You know, Yesha, it's a little surprised that they're being felicitated in Mumbai, considering all 4 of them hail from Mumbai. That is why perhaps also a reason, a factor that explains the kind of excitement we saw within Mumbaikars once the men in blue arrived yesterday. But having said that, give us a sense of how Mumbai has welcomed them with open arms, something we also got to witness during the victory parade. But look at the Chief Minister. He's also hosted these players at his residence today.
Of course, in fact, when you speak of this, there's a possibility that the other chief ministers would also do something on the legs. But when you speak of the Indian cricket team right now, half of the team hails from Mumbai. Some of them have made Mumbai their residence. So when you speak of this, all these 4 players who hail from Mumbai, they were called in by the chief minister, and of course that's also because. When you speak of Mumbai associated with cricket for a very long time. Wankhede Stadium has also been the place which has seen the World Cup final when we won the World Cup last in 2013. In fact, it is known to be the home for Sachin Tendulkar, who's considered to be the god of cricket. So, which is where we've seen Mumbai being synonymous with cricket for a very long time. And of course, Wankhede Stadium is a place which is pretty close to most of the players' heart, which is where we saw that felicitation taking place yesterday. In fact, BCCI handed over the prize money of 125 crores to all of these players yesterday at Wankhede Stadium. And we also, after the victory parade ended, we saw these players dancing at Wankhede Stadium, wherein though the capacity of Wankhede Stadium is around 30,000, but we saw more than 40,000 people waiting to welcome them there. Apart from that, there were lakhs of people. We saw a jam-packed Marine Drive all the way from 5 p.m. onwards. In fact, that was the time when the victory parade was supposed to begin, but it in fact began pretty late in the day, post 6:30 until 8:30 was where we saw the victory parade go on. That was a stretch of just 1 kilometer, which the entire team took almost 1.5 hours to complete. So of course we saw that kind of a love by Mumbaikars, not only Mumbai, but yesterday when we were speaking to several of these fans who had gathered at Marine Drive, even for that matter at the airport. There were people from various locations. We'd spoken to someone who's from Lucknow, who had walked all the way from Lucknow, a Virat Kohli fan. We also saw people coming in from Gujarat, some of them who were there to witness the World Cup finals when it happened at Narendra Modi Stadium. But some of them also carrying the passes of that very World Cup finals, with a memory that next time when India wins World Cup is when they'll be able to they're able to rest that very memory of theirs. A redemption kind of a situation that we see had taken place all the way, because India was undefeated when you speak of the T20 match that took place, the T20 finals that took place. India had an undefeated stand. India had a similar undefeated stand when it comes to the 50 overs World Cup. But that last match was the last match against Australia was a sad moment for the entire country. So many people who travel from across the country to be at Ahmedabad during the World Cup. It was a sad moment that India could not bag that cup, but this has been a redemption. We, of course, saw how Rohit Sharma, when he was in MCA, there was a moment he had with his family. His mother had especially missed her doctor's appointment to be there for her son as well. And, of course, something that we've seen Rohit Sharma speak about, the fact that Rahul Dravid's coach tenure was also ending. He spoke about how the fact that Rahul Dravid was asked to stay a little longer because they wanted to give him also that kind of an ode. All of these speak volumes about how the team had gone further to prove themselves.
Right.
Of course, the fans have been a little upset about.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Yesha. In fact, we have some breaking inputs coming in. We are learning that Sir Keir Starmer has in fact approached the King as we speak, and in fact the King in Britain has given him permission to in fact form the government. He will also be the head of the Treasury, as has been declared by King Charles of England. Remember, this is protocol. This is also what goes in line with the tradition existing in the UK. And staying with tradition, Keir Starmer has now approached King Charles only to go ahead with the government formation. Let's quickly go across to Sanjay Suri, who's joining me on the line. Sanjay, do shed light on this entire development that's just taken place.
Well, what has taken place really is a ceremonial expression of the change of government. It has followed a traditional style, and it happens very, very swiftly. We saw Rishi Sunak step out of Downing Street with his wife. They got into a car, drove to the palace. They met the king. He resigned, and that was the end for Rishi Sunak's term. And almost immediately, we had Keir Starmer and his wife being driven to the palace. Keir Starmer met the king. The king invited him to form government. He was appointed Prime Minister, so Keir Starmer is now officially the Prime Minister as appointed by the king. And that is where we are at the moment. Keir Starmer is on his way back to 10 Downing Street. There's a queue of people lining the road outside, waiting to applaud him, and there's a lectern out at 10 Downing Street. So he will be stepping out shortly, and he will be making his first speech as Prime Minister.
That's a very interesting, development that's just taken place. And Sanjay, take us through what can we now expect. You're saying that he will be making his speech at 10 Downing Street. In how much time should we expect that to happen? In fact, as we speak, Keir Starmer is very much accompanied by the First Lady of Britain. And we can see he's at 10 Downing Street, where he will be delivering that speech. Rishi Sunak, as we all had shown you earlier, has already conceded defeat. He also delivered that speech. Let's quickly bring in Sanjay. Sanjay, a host of challenges, rather myriad challenges, await the newly appointed Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Give us a sense of what awaits him in terms of challenges now.
Well, the first thing he has to do now will be after he makes his key speech, and this is where he will outline his commitments. We can expect more of the tone and content that we heard through the course of his campaigning. But governance begins really once he appoints his cabinet. It will, of course, not be him alone. There will be a whole team, and the cabinet will be picked very, very carefully. The Deputy Prime Minister is certainly likely to be Angela Rayner. She has been his constant companion through the campaign. She is a senior Labour figure. Then the Chancellor of the Exchequer is expected to be Rachel Reeves. She was the Shadow Chancellor, and she has been watching that space very closely and very critically. And there has been a question whether David Lammy will be appointed the Foreign Secretary, but we should know fairly soon, either later today or tomorrow, very likely later today, who has been appointed as cabinet ministers. Once the cabinet ministers are appointed, the cabinet holds a meeting, a brief is given to the ministers, their assignments are discussed, targets are set, policies are set.
All right. In fact, Sanjay, I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. Let's also listen into what the newly appointed Prime Minister of the UK, Keir Starmer, has to say.
Buckingham Palace, where I accepted an invitation from His Majesty the King to form the next government of this great nation. I want to thank the outgoing Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak. His achievement as the first British Asian Prime Minister of our country, the extra effort that will have required, should not be underestimated by anyone. And we pay tribute to that today. And we also recognise the dedication and hard work he brought to his leadership. But now our country has voted decisively for change, for national renewal, and a return of politics to public service. When the gap between the sacrifices made by people and the service they receive from politicians grows this big, it leads to a weariness in the heart of a nation, a draining away of the hope, the spirit, the belief in a better future, that we need to move forward together. Now, this wound, this lack of trust, can only be healed by actions, not words. I know that. But we can make a start today with the simple acknowledgement that public service is a privilege and that your government should treat every single person in this country with respect. If you voted Labour yesterday, we will carry the responsibility of your trust as we rebuild our country. But whether you voted Labour or not, in fact, especially if you did not, I say to you directly, my government will serve you. Politics can be a force for good. We will show that. We've changed the Labour Party, returned it to service, and that is how we will govern. Country first, party second. Yet, if I'm honest, service is merely a precondition of hope, and it is surely clear to everyone that our country needs a bigger reset, a rediscovery of who we are, because no matter how fierce the storms of history, one of the great strengths of this nation has always been our ability to navigate a way to calmer waters. And yet this depends upon politicians, particularly those who stand for stability and moderation, as I do, recognising when we must change course. For too long now, we've turned a blind eye as millions slid into greater insecurity. Nurses, builders, drivers, carers, people doing the right thing, working harder every day, recognised at moments like this before, yet as soon as the cameras stop rolling, their lives are ignored. I want to say very clearly to those people, not this time. Changing a country is not like flicking a switch. The world is now a more volatile place. This will take a while. But have no doubt that the work of change begins immediately. Have no doubt that we will rebuild Britain with wealth created in every community, our NHS back on its feet facing the future, secure borders, safer streets, everyone treated with dignity and respect at work, the opportunity of clean British power cutting your energy bills for good. And brick by brick, we will rebuild the infrastructure of opportunity, the world-class schools and colleges, the affordable homes that I know are the ingredients of hope for working people, the security that working-class families like mine can build their lives around. Because if I asked you now whether you believe that Britain will be better for your children? I know too many of you would say no. And so my government will fight every day until you believe again. From now on, you have a government unburdened by doctrine, guided only by the determination to serve your interest, to defy, quietly, those who have written our country off. You have given us a clear mandate, and we will use it to deliver change, to restore service and respect to politics, end the era of noisy performance, tread more lightly on your lives, and unite our country. 4 nations standing together again, facing down, as we have so often in our past, the challenges of an insecure world, committed to a calm and patient rebuilding. So, with respect and humility, I invite you all to join this government of service in the mission of national renewal. Our work is urgent, and we begin it today. Thank you very much.
Right, that was Sir Keir Starmer delivering his first historic speech from 10 Downing Street as the new Prime Minister of Britain. Let's quickly go across to Sanjay, who continues to stay with us. Sanjay, your assessment of those historic words, in fact, delivered by the newly appointed Prime Minister over there. He said it's going to be about the nation first and party second.
This is standard British. He began by paying a tribute to the outgoing Prime Minister and spent the rest of the speech talking about what has gone wrong with the country that Labour is determined to fix. Gone wrong, i.e. mistakes made by the earlier government. And key words that he has found, it was running through the campaign and it ran through the speech, was the word service, that he repeated several times. That an assurance to people and a commitment to people that this is a government to serve them and not a government where leaders say the right things and then forget about it once the camera is switched off. So a lot of veiled barbs at the outgoing government, the Conservative government, that's the nature of politics. But really, he has set out a new tone for the government, and the commitment really is that lives will be made better, that the future for people's children will be made brighter, and that is his commitment. And he knows that this is a very important speech. Everything he does in government will be judged against the commitments made now. So this is a very critical moment. He has set a standard for himself, and now it's for him to deliver.
Absolutely. In fact, as we speak, let me also take our viewers through the visuals that are coming in. As we see Keir Starmer accompanied by Britain's new First Lady, Victoria Starmer, entering 10 Downing House. 10 Downing House to be having new occupants now. In fact, Sanjay, do tell us a bit more about Victoria Starmer, Britain's new First Lady. We are being told that she's also a former solicitor.
Yes, and that is where the two met. I mean, they have similar backgrounds, similar interests. I have read that one of the concerns that the Starmers have between them is how their teenage children will adjust to their new house and whether they will have friends in the neighborhood or not. Unlikely, of course, given where 10 Downing Street is located. So these are now just standard homely issues that they will also face It's a new home, it's a new assignment, it's a new world for them. And they do look very convincing, which Starmer always has in a dry sort of way, in an unexciting sort of way. He has been considered a bit of a bore, but clearly he is coming across now very convincingly, very eloquently, and the two of them look quite charming together, and it could be the beginning of a new streak of popularity that Starmer will find now that he hasn't before.
Absolutely. In fact, interestingly, Sanjay, she was also somebody who was part of Tony Blair's campaign before she, in fact, became a solicitor. Heartwarming visuals indeed, especially before taking a quick break. Many thanks to you, Sanjay, for bringing in all those inputs and for so relentlessly and effortlessly reporting on these elections for us. And with that, in fact, it's time to slip into a quick break. Don't go anywhere because more breaking inputs await your attention on the other side.
I'd like to express my gratitude to the people of the Richmond and Northallerton constituency for your continued support. Since I moved here a decade ago, you have made me and my family feel so at home, and I look forward to continuing to serve as your Member of Parliament. It is an enormous privilege. I'm grateful to my agent and constituency team, and I congratulate my opponents here on the energetic and very good-natured campaigns that they have run. The Labour Party has won this general election, and I have called Sir Keir Starmer to congratulate him on his victory. Today, power will change hands in a peaceful and orderly manner, with goodwill on all sides. That is something that should give us all confidence in our country's stability and future. The British people have delivered a sobering verdict tonight. There is much to learn and reflect on, and I take responsibility for the loss. To the many good, hard-working Conservative candidates who lost tonight, despite their tireless efforts, their local records of delivery, and their dedication to their communities, I am sorry. I will now head down to London, where I will say more about tonight's result before I leave the job of Prime Minister, to which I have given my all. I will then return here, to my family's home, and I look forward to spending more time with you all in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Thank you.
Serious failings in leadership, processes, and culture in dealing with anti-Semitism within our party. History.
Are you ready? Ready? Relax the arm. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Lovely. No blood, all done.
6 weeks ago, when they just thought they'd done it. And they hadn't declared at that stage.
That's it.
You get a lot of fun.
No, but you'd think that was me that gave him that idea.
Yeah, I'd be very happy. Come. I think somebody's going to show you how it's done on this one.
He's going to move it right. Should we be moving it though? Is the idea to move it on?
Well, no, the idea is not really to move it, it's just which it's out. What a pair of gloves
walking into PMQs.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure he's been keeping up with what's happening in the last few days. Mr. Speaker, may I welcome the new cabinet to their places?
Welcome back. Now remember, TMC's Mahua Moitra is back courting controversy because this time around she has attacked the NCW chief Rekha Sharma, who was in Hathras to meet all those women who were injured during the stampede. Now during her interaction with all those injured women, she was seen in fact being sheltered by an umbrella, to which in fact Mahua Moitra had taken pot shots in fact at the NCW chief. She said that as far as the NCW chief is concerned, she's only busy holding her boss's pajamas, to which Rekha Sharma has in fact sent out a very angry tweet. She's gone on to request the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and also the Delhi Police Commissioner to take strict action against the TMC MP as well. We are also going to bring you the tweet of Rekha Sharma, who's in fact gone on to talk about how the National Commission for Women has only taken suo motu cognizance of the derogatory remarks made by Ms. Mahua Moitra, Member of the Parliament, against Ms. Rekha Sharma, Chairperson. The tweet also goes on to urge that an FIR should be registered against Ms. Moitra and a detailed action report should be communicated to the Commission within 3 days. In fact, Mahua Moitra is also being labelled as a troll by Rekha Sharma. She has in fact been extremely angry at the kind of callous and sharp remarks that have been passed by the TMC MP. Let's quickly go across to Pallavi, who's joining me on the phone line. Pallavi, it's not the first time that Mahua Moitra has in fact trained her guns at somebody on the other side of the fence. But how is this now going to play out politically? Will there be any action taken against her?
We'll have to see if the Speaker takes cognizance of this complaint. But, she's also making this reference new laws, the 3 new laws, and the provision of one of those laws is talk about outraging the modesty of a woman and any kind of public comment. And it doesn't even give that shield to a member of parliament. So if it's under those laws, if under those sections their action is mulled by the Speaker, it could mean even more trouble for Mahua. So for now, of course, she seems to have deleted that response to that particular tweet, which clearly the party has not approved of. But yes, it is very clear that the which is taking place between the BJP and Mahua Moitra specifically, and her comments on the social media platform X has not gone down well, which is NCW has taken cognizance of it, which is also requesting the Speaker to take strong action against her. And if the Speaker has to admit it, so if the Speaker admits it and recommendation action against her, it could be something serious for her.
All right, many thanks to you, Pallavi, for bringing in all those inputs. And with that, let's now shift focus over to Hathras. Remember, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, was in Hathras. That is how the day began, with the news of his arrival, when he also met the kin of the deceased. Soon after, the BJP was very quick to attack the leader of opposition's visit to Hathras. But remember, the ADG in Hathras has in fact given us exclusive information here at CNN News 18. The ADG said that the entire ambit of this investigation has only increased further in size, because the ADGs also shared information talking about how statements of close to 90 people have already been recorded. This after 6 people, remember, were arrested yesterday. They were all sevadars, but having said that, the Baba still continues to remain absconding, as is Madhukar, who is one of the organizers. His name nonetheless does feature in the FIR, and in fact the IG of Aligarh, Shalabh Mathur, had yesterday announced that there will be a non-bailable warrant issued against one of these organizers. Let's quickly bring you some reactions.
Yes, they are on the way, so you will get to know about it very soon. But we are working very hard, and there are a lot of things that are in process. We get to know the results.
Any figure that you can say that how many people have been rounded up, or detained, just for question?
So you know about the 6 arrests, and I can also share with you that the conspiracy angle cannot be ruled out. And you've seen the number of arrests, you've seen that they are indicative of such things. So the conspiracy angle definitely is something that we would like to go into.
There are 17 people in the organization.
Yes.
6 have been arrested.
Yes.
Any more we can say
A lot
that
of interrogations are going on. A lot of pushbacks will
more than 20 people have been detained?
No, not people, but you can say that a lot of it, that pushbacks ke liye, trying to get a lot of information about the, role of each individual out of those 78. So those who are culpable will definitely be.
आपको कब पता लगा इस बारे में? किसी तरह की मदद मिली है आपको अभी तक?
नहीं सर, कोई मदद नहीं मिली। मुझे 3:30 बजे मेरे पास फोन गया कि बेटा तुम्हारा भतीजा चला गया।
आपका भतीजा था 6 साल का?
अभी 6 साल का पूरा नहीं हुआ था, 5 साल का शूटिंग पर गया था।
ये बाबा के सत्संग में जाते रहते थे आप, मंजू देवी जी?
हाँ, जब भी समय मिलता था जाते थे। पास में था तो भैया भाभी को ले गए थे, बच्चे को ले गए थे। वो भी बहुत छोटा बेशक था, मगर भजन सुनता रहता था उनके।
सरकार से कोई आया है आपसे मिलने, किस तरह की मदद करने की बात कही है? किसको जिम्मेवार मानती है इतनी बड़ी दुर्घटना हो जाती है?
सबसे ज़्यादा प्रशासन का हुआ प्रदूषण। अब प्रशासन नहीं था, अगर प्रशासन होता तो ऐसा नहीं होता। अगर बाबा अपने लिए इतनी सुविधा कर सकते हैं, वह जनता की पता है कितनी जनता आएगी, मेरी भीड़ भाड़ होती है, तो उन्हें प्रशासन लगाना चाहिए। बहुत ढील थी, फिर मेडिकल में भी कोई सुविधा नहीं थी। अगर मेरी भाभी की दवा गोली होती तो भाभी बच जाती थी।
आपको कितने बजे आपको पता लगा कि वहाँ पे ये घटना हुई है, और कहाँ पर बुलाया गया था आपको प्रशासन की तरफ से शिनाख्त के लिए?
मुझे हॉस्पिटल ही पहुंची थी मैं यहाँ से डायरेक्ट
हाथरस। वहीं पर आपका भतीजा और भाभी?
मेरा भतीजा वहीं मिला था।
माता थी आपकी?
मेरी भाभी थी।
भाभी थी।
4 बेटियों के बाद हुआ था बेटा।
अभी राहुल गांधी जी भी आए थे, उन्होंने क्या बात की, किसी तरह का आपको भरोसा आश्वासन दिलाया?
हाँ, वो यही कह रहे थे कि सरकार के द्वारा पूरी मदद की जाएगी आप लोगों की।
सरकार ने कुछ कंपनसेशन भी अनाउंस किया है, उसके बारे में आपको पता है? उसके बारे में आप?
हाँ, ये बता रहे कि जो मृत्यु हुई है उसके लिए 2 लाख रुपए। क्या होगा पैसे का? पैसे का क्या होगा? मेरा बेटा चला गया।
मंजू देवी जी को अरेस्ट किया गया है, पुलिस ने मंजू यादव जी को अरेस्ट किया गया, पुलिस ने अरेस्ट किया। आपको क्या पता लगा इसके बारे में, और आपको कब जानकारी मिली कि इनको पुलिस ने अरेस्ट कर लिया है?
सो रहे थे, क्योंकि सब सोए रहे यहाँ, तो हम तो सोए रहे जी, बच्चा हमारे जरा सोए रहो जी, मंजू देवी की जरा सोए रहो। जब ले चल रहे यहाँ तब मालूम पड़ी हमें। हमने पूछी, मैंने लगा क्या बात है कि बाबा जी को सत्संग हो रहा है। हम रह गए, हम कछु कितने को न जाए पाए, लला रोए रहो सो नहीं ठाड़े तो मतलब बहू घुमा के बैठा ले गए।
अच्छा, आपकी जो बहू है वो कितने दिनों से सत्संग में जाती थी? कब से बाबा को जाती थी?
करी ने का दिन तो 4-6 पूत गई, वैसे ना गई।
4-6 महीने से ही जाती थी। उनको कौन लेके गया बाबा के पास? सबसे पहले कौन लेके गया था उनको?
अब हमें अब जे भैया को लेगा वो दिन हमारे को लेगा को कह दी होगी कि चलो तो चली गई है। हमें तो हम तो बाद में डांटी, हम 2 पुराने ने सुनियो कह रहे कि आज चले जान दो, फिर हम कबू ना जाएंगे। बस 22 दिन की बिन माफ़ी मांगी हम पे, आज चले जान दो फिर कबू ना जाएंगे। यूँ रोकता है कि का माँ ढोंगी बाबा तो जाओ बे, मतलब में मतलब नहीं कहते कन्हैया की पूजा करो, तो अब आ गई वहाँ पे कन्हैया की पूजा करेंगे, आज चली जान दो हमें।
अच्छा,
सो बस मैंने आज चली जाओ तुम, आज तो डाला फिर ना जान देंगे तुम्हें। अब भी नहीं तो पुराग लग गो कि समय लोग पकड़ ले गए, जेल में कर देंगे। अब समय लोग मेरे बच्चे लोग तो फरिए थे, एक जिला लिया, एक जिला है, एक जिला रहा छोटा जी, तो रही ना रहो कैसे।
ये तीनों बच्चे
जागता रोए रोए कि सबरात रोवत है वो।
All right, so Anshul is the correspondent who's been tracking those latest developments for us, and let's quickly go across to Anshul, who's also live with us. Anshul, when you talk about the entire ambit of investigation expanding further, we're also learning that this, the police is also going to be looking out for the Baba and one of the organizers, Madhukar, in states of Rajasthan, even Haryana, and that means that this entire investigation goes beyond eastern Uttar Pradesh as well. Having said that, is this now going to require a multi-pronged effort as far as the investigation is concerned?
Well, that depends on the seriousness with which the police actually wants to investigate this entire matter, because till now the Baba has not been contacted actually by the Uttar Pradesh police. What is the reason behind this? That is still not very, very clear, because yesterday while addressing the press conference, IG Shalabh Mathur in fact had pointed towards the direction that Baba could actually have been the head of the committee that had organized this entire event. So definitely somewhere or the other the Baba needs to be questioned as well. But if you see the kind of political patronage that this Baba enjoys is something that is probably stopping the police from going full-fledged in search of the Baba. Also the main accused, the Ved Prakash Madhukar, who was the organizer who had taken permission from the SDM and the main accused of this entire event, he has still not been traced by Uttar Pradesh police. Yes, police sources say that they are getting close, they are inching close to arresting him, but when will that happen? That is something that remains to be seen. On the other hand, the arrests that have happened in this entire matter, this is something that points out, in our investigation at least, what we have found out, especially after speaking to the family members of the people who have been arrested by Uttar Pradesh police. These are very small players. In fact, they had no direct role either in organizing this entire event or taking permissions from the authorities. Basically, the role of these people were of sevadars, and they were present on the spot when this entire incident had happened. Definitely, somewhere or the other, it seems like that the Uttar Pradesh police has arrested these people just to blow off some steam, because there was a lot of pressure on them. Approximately for 2 days after the incident, there were 0 arrests that were made in this entire case. Now, finally, 6 people were arrested. But if you look at the background and the involvement in this entire incident, it is still very unclear that what was the reason for arresting these people, because they were they were present on the spot, but it is still not proven that they were actually the sevadars. In fact, Meg Singh, one of the accused who has been arrested, he was one of the persons who had in fact helped people to go to the hospital in his vehicle as well.
And as we speak, Anshul, important to also highlight how this entire matter is also getting muddied by the kind of political blame game that we are seeing going on, because remember, the opposition's been attacking the BJP's trained their guns back at the Congress for not reacting when the Hooch tragedy took place in Tamil Nadu, or when a Kanhaiya Lal was beheaded. Having said that, the fact of the matter remains that there is political patronage that this Baba is also enjoying, which is perhaps one of the reasons why he's still untraceable.
Well, definitely, if you see the kind of following that this Baba has, none of the political parties actually want to go ahead and give out that could anger the Baba, and that could eventually result in a massive shift of votes, because what we have seen out here on the ground that this Baba enjoys Dalit support in at least 16 districts in and around Uttar Pradesh, not only in this part of Uttar Pradesh but also in parts of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh as well. So definitely this is something that is in the mind of political parties. We have seen Akhilesh Yadav commenting on this, we have seen Gandhi commenting on this, and we have also seen the Chief Minister of the state, Yogi Adityanath, commenting on this. But none of them even once said anything against the Baba. The reasons are absolutely clear, because of the kind of support that this person has. This is something that is in the mind of all these political parties, because if you have seen the manner in which this Baba operates, that is something that is definitely very shocking, and his only job is to go ahead and dupe the poor people and make a fortune out of it. He was arrested for the same in the year 2000, but due to lack of evidences, he was let go of from the courts. But this time around as well, over the last 2 decades, he has been functioning in the same manner, promising people that he has those divine powers through which he can magically cure people of deadly diseases that medical science cannot cure them of. So this is how he has been selling his powers to the people, and through that he has been making this entire fortune, and also he has been able to garner so much support from the people who belong to the poorest section of the society. These are the people who are most vulnerable to such godmans, self-acclaimed godmans.
Absolutely.
And that
what's
is the reason
even
why
more
there
shocking
were
is the administration's own approach towards this godman, because remember, neither the FIR nor the SDM's report mention the godman at all. Many thanks to you, Anshul, for bringing in all those inputs. And in fact, with that, let's also bring you a ground report from outside one of the leading accused's residence. The house of Ved Prakash Madhukar has in fact been left abandoned. It's locked and there was nobody to be found. Let's quickly bring you a ground report by our correspondent Anvit.
This is his house. We are reporting right outside from that house. Right now the house is locked. You can see the house has been locked from outside, and the police have said that a non-bailable warrant will soon be issued against Dev Prakash Madhukar, whose house this is, and against whom the allegations are that he was the chief organizer of the event of Baba Hari Sakar's event where stampede was set off, and 121 people have been killed while 31 have been left injured. Police have also said that rupees 1 lakh reward on his arrest has been announced. 6 people have already been arrested who are said to be sevadars of this organizing committee of the event, and Baba police have said that they have not said have any contact with the Baba whose event it was, and also they have said that Dev Prakash Madhukar has been absconding. Police have come out and said officially that he is absconding right now, and they have not been able to set any contact with this man. He is said to be the main organizer. He has been named as the main accused in the FIR. The Baba, however, has not been named as the FIR. Police have said that as the investigation further proceeds, then he might be named in the FIR. Madhukar, police have said, was the head of the organizing committee of this entire incident that took place, and this is his house. We are reporting right outside from this house. We tried to reach out to people inside, but the house remains locked, and when we spoke to the locals, they have said that Madhukar and his family members have left this place and police are now trying to track them down.
मैं इसको राजनीतिक प्रिज्म से नहीं कहना चाहता हूँ, मगर प्रशासन की कमी तो है जी, और गलतियाँ तो हुई हैं, फोन थोड़ा साइड करिए, तो ये पता लगाना चाहिए, और शायद सबसे ज़रूरी बात कि कॉम्पनसेशन सही मिलना चाहिए। परिवार वालों से मेरी पर्सनल बात हुई जी, उनके परिवार के बारे में जी, उनके बच्चों के बारे में, माता के बारे में, वो कैसे थे, क्या करते थे, तो वैसी बात हुई है। उन्होंने कहा कि प्रशासन की कमी है, उन्होंने कहा कि जो अरेंजमेंट वहाँ पुलिस का होना चाहिए था वो नहीं था।
देखिए, वह बहुत दुखद है और संवेदनशील है, और उस पे घटना की पूरी तरह से तहकीकात की जा रही है, और जब तहकीकात के बाद जो तथ्य आएंगे उस पर निश्चित रूप से राज्य सरकार निगरानी रख रही है, और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी भी उस घटना के प्रति अति संवेदनशील है, और जो सहयोग केंद्र सरकार से होनी चाहिए वो उस समय प्राप्त भी कराई गई है, और जो जांच में जो तथ्य आएंगे उस पर जरूर राज्य सरकार कार्रवाई करेगी।
देखिए, जैसे कि हम सब लोगों को ज्ञात है कि बड़ी ही गंभीर घटना है, और जो धनराशि भी एक सहयोग की धनराशि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की ओर से और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी की ओर से जो दी गई थी 2-2 लाख रुपए की धनराशि, वो धनराशि के चेक भी हम सब लोग वितरित लगभग हर जगह पे किए जा चुके हैं। लोग इस बड़ी दुखद घटना में भी राजनीति को करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। राहुल गांधी जी आज जितने भी हमारे इस घटना के अंतर्गत कुछ मृतक थे, उन परिवारों से जाकर के मिले हैं, और जाकर के उन्होंने यहाँ पर भी शोक संवेदना व्यक्त करने की जगह वहाँ पे राजनीति को करने का प्रयास किया।
नहीं, पहले तो इसमें से थोड़ा सा राहुल जी जा रहे मिलने के लिए, बहुत बड़ा हादसा हुआ है, और ये लोगों के श्रद्धा तो होनी चाहिए, पर लोगों के दिमाग में आजकल अंधश्रद्धा डाली जा रही है, तो अंधश्रद्धा को निकालने की भी बात भी होनी चाहिए। जो सफिशिएंट पुलिस का प्रोटेक्शन हो, बंदोबस्त हो, वहाँ की व्यवस्था हो, ये भी देखना चाहिए। अगर नहीं देखकर कार्यक्रम हुआ है तो इसके लिए सरकार वहाँ की जिम्मेदार है, और वो सरकार की जिम्मेदारी बनती है, और इसकी जिम्मेदारी उठाते हुए वहाँ के सरकार के ऊपर कार्रवाई होनी भी चाहिए। राहुल जी जाकर आज उनके दुखों को बांटने का काम करेंगे। इसे निश्चित रूप से जो बेचारे जिनकी जान गई है उनको एक दिलासा देने का काम भी होगा।
Now remember, it was just days ago that the leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi had accused the government of denying compensation to the Agniveers, and in fact he had also gone on to say that the government is only spreading misinformation. He had rejected the claims made by the Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh that the Agniveers have been compensated adequately. In fact, their families have been compensated, to which CNN News 18 has in fact fact-checked what Rahul Gandhi has claimed. CNN News 18 reached out to Charan Charanjit Singh, who in fact lost his life during action in Rajouri in January this year, and found out that the family had been adequately compensated for the loss of his life. In fact, he was given, his entire family has been given 98 lakh rupees and 37,000 rupees, and the family has gone on to talk about how they were given this amount in 2 tranches. In fact, the government has been very vehement in denying the claims that the opposition has been making. They are also saying that Congress is only spreading misinformation. Let's also listen in to what the father of the Agniveer, Charanjit Singh, has to say.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਹੂਲਤਾਂ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਵੀ 1 ਕਰੋੜ ਰੁਪਇਆ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਸੀ ਭਗਵੰਤ ਮਾਨ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਜੀ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਬਾਕੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਨੇ ਵੀ 48 ਭੇਜਿਆ 10 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ 50 ਲੱਖ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਭੇਜਿਆ ICICI बैंक च दोनों बैंकों में पैसा आ गया
कितना पैसा
तकरीबन वही आ गया भगवंत मान का लाख छोड़ के तो 1 करोड़ तो इधर आ ही गया 50 लाख का मुझे मालूम नहीं था मैनू जिदा पता नहीं सीगा भी दूसरी बैंक ICICI में मैं कल चेक करे पासबुक तो उसमें 50 लाख और आया हुआ हूँ सी होता भी कहेंगे राजनाथ जी भी सही अपनी तरफ सानू पता मालूम नहीं था भी 50 लाख उधर भी आया है ना मैंने 48 लाख कहा राहुल गांधी भी सही है उन्हें 48 लाख का मैं सुन गया 48 है बाकी नहीं कोई।
All right, let's quickly go across to our correspondent Akash, who's also joining us live on the newscast. Akash, as we were discussing earlier during the day, the fact-checking done by CNN News 18 has only gone on to validate the kind of claims that the BJP makes about the Congress party, and in terms of how they have been extremely callous about passing this kind of misinformation and remarks when it comes to either the Agniveers or even India's forces.
In fact, Akanksha, let me tell you that till 3rd of July, the amount was 98.39 lakh, but now it is 99.3 lakh because the information that we have got from our, Indian Army sources. So this information is suggesting that on 3rd of July, the family has got additional 1 lakh. It means the total amount that has been disbursed in this case is 99.39 lakh, and remaining amount will be disbursed. In fact, Army officers have been informing us that there is a due process after which this amount will be disbursed. Important things in this matter, initially it was initiated by Rahul Gandhi, leader of opposition. He, said several things. In fact, yes, in the month of January, he visited the family, and after that he said that how in Agniveer scheme, you are not giving any sort of martyr status to Agniveers. And then he talked about allegedly no financial help to the family, but it was clarified by Rajnath Singh, one, and then Indian Army officially clarified that how more than 98 lakh rupees has already been disbursed, and the rest amount will be disbursed, after which the total figure would be 1.65 crore rupees.
In fact, the facts are very much on record, even though the opposition, especially the Congress party, may want to maintain the kind of misinformation that they've been peddling, as has been highlighted not just by the Raksha Mantri, but by the government overall as well. Many thanks to you, Akash, for bringing in all those inputs. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break. Stay tuned to Nation at 5.
A new Chancellor who accepted a job from the Prime Minister on Wednesday afternoon and then told him to quit on Thursday morning. A new Northern Ireland Secretary who once asked if you need a passport to get to Derry. And the new Education Secretary whose junior ministers have literally been giving the middle finger to the public. It is truly the country's loss that they will only be in post for a few weeks. Now, the Prime Minister must be feeling demo happy since he was pushed out of office. Finally, he can throw off the shackles, say what he really thinks, and forget about following the rules.
Now called the Leader of the Opposition, Keir Starmer.
Today, our country, our people, this House are united in mourning. Queen Elizabeth II was this great country's greatest monarch.
Opposition party leaders, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, my sincere condolences. Love you so much. Can't imagine.
Can't believe actually ever come.
Well, the private grief of losing a mother at the same time as the public responsibility. So, I thought your speech yesterday was fantastic, by the way.
Who did you?
Oh,
it was encouraging.
It was so reassuring. I think the public is so reassuring.
It was amazing.
Mr. Speaker, the only mandate she's ever had is from members opposite. It was a mandate built on fantasy economics, and it ended in disaster. The country's got nothing to show for it except the destruction of the economy and the implosion of the Tory party. I've got the list here. 45p tax cut, gone. Corporation tax cut, gone. 20p tax cut, gone. 2-year energy freeze, gone. Tax-free shopping, gone. Economic credibility, gone. And her supposed best friend, the former Chancellor, he's gone as well. They're all gone. So why is she still here?
Mr. Speaker, I am a fighter and not a quitter.
Welcome back. Let's now shift focus over to Bihar because 12 bridges have in fact collapsed in the last 15 days. We are also learning that there have been bridge collapses in Saran district as well. This marks the third bridge collapse in fact in Saran with just 2 days having gone by, and that's been fodder enough for the opposition to in fact train their guns at the government. In fact, Tejashwi Yadav has accused the government of corruption and crime, saying that all those bridges that have collapsed is a result of the government's corruption. At the same time, on the other hand, Union Minister Jitan Ram Manjhi has stoked a fresh row after he defended the government and in fact has blamed the monsoon fury for this entire bridge collapse. The collapse has caused this political storm. As we were telling you, in fact, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar also held a high-level meeting to assess these collapses. On that note, let's also listen into the political reactions that have come in. To begin with, Jitan Ram Manjhi.
समाचार मिलिए, हम लोग ये जानते हैं बरसात का समय है, काफी अब नॉर्मल वर्षा हुई है जी, इसलिए पुल पे गिरने का सिलसिला है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी पुल क्यों गिरा है इसकी जांच के लिए यहाँ का मुख्यमंत्री बहुत संवेदनशील है।
नीतीश कुमार जी मुख्यमंत्री बने तब से और अब तक ग्रामीण कार्य विभाग जो है केवल 18 महीने के लिए छोड़ दिया जाए तो सारा वक्त जो है जनता दल यूनाइटेड के पास ही रहा है ये मंत्रालय। बिहार में लगातार अपराध की घटनाएं हो रही है, भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है। ऐसी डबल इंजन की सरकार जो भ्रष्टाचार में लिप्त हो, जिन लोगों ने बेरोजगारी बढ़ाई है, जिन लोगों ने गरीबी बढ़ाई है, जिन लोगों ने महंगाई बढ़ाई है, जिन लोगों के कार्यकाल में पुल गिरा है, आने वाले समय में इनको सत्ता में लौटने नहीं देंगे।
नहीं, देखिए, ये बहुत गंभीर विषय है और इस बात का मैं विश्वास रखता हूं कि राज्य सरकार भी इसको उतनी ही गंभीरता से ले रही है। जिस तरीके से निर्माण कार्यों में भ्रष्टाचार की वजह से गुणवत्ता के साथ समझौता किया गया है, इसको कतई बर्दाश्त नहीं किया जाएगा। मैं प्रशासन के भी संपर्क में हूं, राज्य सरकार के भी, और इस बात को आने वाले दिनों में सुनिश्चित किया जाएगा कि भविष्य में कभी ऐसी घटना दोबारा ना घटे।
तेजस्वी यादव ने जो आरोप लगाए हैं उस पर आप क्या कहेंगे? जो गिरते हुए पुल हैं उसको लेकर के निशाना साधा है कि ग्रामीण कार्य विभाग तो जेडीयू के हाथों में रहा है पिछले कई सालों से।
क्योंकि तेजस्वी यादव जी जो सवाल उठा रहे हैं और पर्टिकुलरली नीतीश जी के शासनकाल में हुई घटनाओं को लेकर के वो बेमतलब है, बेमायने है। सब जानते हैं कि नीतीश कुमार जी ईमानदारी के, भ्रष्टाचार विरोध के प्रतीक के रूप में राजनीति में आए। कुछ पुल ऐसे भी हैं जो नीतीश जी के शासनकाल से भी पुराने हैं, कुछ ऐसे हैं जो तेजस्वी जी के कार्यकाल के हैं, लेकिन इसकी जड़ में ना जाकर के नीतीश कुमार जी ने जो फैसला किया है उसका सबको स्वागत करना चाहिए। किसी के जमाने का पुल हो, कोई भी अनियमितता हो, किसी को भी बख्शा नहीं जाए।
This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta, and you're watching it live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. Politics over Agniveer scheme refuses to die down. Now, the scheme has been under scrutiny since its inception. And this time, the entire controversy erupted over compensation to Agniveer's killed in line